And make it more complicated?
Do we
No way.
do we have a what's even ringing right now? Oh. Do we even have I'm wearing watches that are ringing now. Technologies, you know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man.
Do you have any thoughts on the Ultra?
Do we have to be more connected, Will? Is that really what we're missing now? We need to be more connected via device? Is that the part that's missing, or is it different types of connections that might be missing? I don't know. It's just a question.
You tell me.
No, it's just a question for you, Will. It's just a question for you. It's a general question for you.
No, I think it's...
Yeah.
I think it's right now.
What's right? What the hell is that supposed to
The
mean?
level of connection.
All right.
I think it's a wide range in
Yeah.
terms of connection. You
Man,
can be
you-
off the grid. I mean, you can also be really connected with everything.
Okay.
But the choice is still up to you.
No,
which is not
but
bad.
my point is, what is the ratio of
Having a watch is...
virtual connection versus physical? And I don't mean like, I mean IRL
Okay.
versus like, what's a healthy ratio? IRL communication versus digital, you know?
You
What's the
want
right
me to
amount?
Put in percentages?
That's right. Like, it should be 80-20, I think.
I was thinking 70-30, but
70-30, yeah. It sounds like we're trying to do a revenue split for YouTube Premium right now. Yeah, no, I mean, I got everything ringing because now that I added the watch, it's like every MacBook in existence, and there's like so many that I've been signed into over the ages. Every one of those wants to accept calls via Apple ID, and you have to disable it every time. It's not a thing that you say no to once. Every time you set up a new device, it basically tries to persuade you back into receiving calls across everything. They just really want to make this ecosystem play. And it feels like there's not a single Apple device at this point that operates any bit independently of others. You know? Like for example, I was trying to get Apple Watches for my kids. And because I think it's a nice little communication stopgap. However, getting those set up, I'm talking about the cellular models.
okay.
Getting those set up as extensions of an existing plan as opposed to standalone. First of all, there's only 2 carriers in Canada that support it, Bell and TELUS. And it's this sort of collaborative effort between the carrier and the software on the phone. And of course, the phone is still going to be an integral component in being able to do that. There is no like standalone setup for the watch. It's like, no. You could have $1,000 watch with cellular functionality. Essentially, can do anything a phone can do, but you need the phone to get it going. Now, there are workarounds. Some people go crazy workarounds I'm reading on Reddit where they borrow a Bell SIM card from somebody because it's supported in order to set up the extension family devices. By the way, this will be different in the US depending on which carrier support it. It'll be different in every region depending on which carrier support it. And there's an eSIM conversation with it as well. So what I'm doing last night is I'm on the chat. I didn't expect to talk about this, by the way, but I'm on the chat. I'm trying to temporarily get a Bell SIM card eSIM set up on an extra eSIM slot on the 14 Pro Max in my pocket in order to activate the cellular capabilities of these 2 watches, which would be basically child watches inside of this family unit.
So you can't do it over the phone with them?
Or you can do it over the phone if you want. I don't know that that's any better. Have you ever been on the phone to Bell or Rogers?
Actually, I have recently.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually a pleasant experience.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I was on the line as well. I was listening the entire time. I was there too.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you what's pleasant and not pleasant. No, because first of all, when you're trying to set something like that up, it's like, okay, what's the IMEI number? See how many digits an IMEI number is?
Yeah.
Bravo,
Alpha, Charlie, Zebra,
spaghetti.
Chaplin.
It's just a phone is not set up for that. You're frustrated, you're irritated. And you really want this some other way for this, and you're like, okay, well, you got that. I realize I blame the carriers a lot for this. They're slow to move, and like I said, Rogers is enormous, and they don't have a method for this. There's currently no method for this. You know what the method is? Set up a new cellular number on the eSIM of the watch for $55 a month. Infinite data plan. And you're like, what? On a watch?
That's brutal.
What are you doing? Or you can add your own Apple Watch for a $10 fee. Apple Watch Cellular as a new independent device, but that works for one. And it'll have the same number as your existing number. That's not going to work for me. I got my kids answering my calls. What's going on here?
Yeah.
You got to do it this way specifically. So anyway, that's a word to the wise out there. Don't worry. I'll get it all sorted out. And I'll give you an update on it, how it all goes.
Okay.
I'm wearing this Ultra round. I'm playing with some different bands on there. Battery life. Listen, I haven't worn an Apple Watch in a while. I know everybody cares about battery life. It hasn't been shockingly good. I have range anxiety with the watch.
So it's not 36 hours like they
wasn't it 36 hours in some sort of power saving or no? Listen, this is going to have a lot to do with how you use it. You're right. 36 hours normally is God no, not for me. I turned off always on display. I know how sad. That's so sad. So
everyone's calling you.
I got to go raise to wake now. I don't know. Is everyone calling me? Like I don't really know what the issue is at this point. But they say 60 hours on low power. That's coming soon. It's a daily. For me, it's still a daily charge. Basically, it can maybe get over a day, but then you're not using it heavily, and you're not looking at it, and you're not typing responses, and you're not. I pay for a lot. I was paying for a lot of things with it as well. I don't know what's consuming the most battery, but maybe there's tweaking that can take place. Maybe there's software updates, and maybe I'll run the screen less bright. I'll find ways, I think, but it's still the most major drawback in my opinion. And some people don't agree. Some people, they say, you charge it every night just like your phone. Calm down. But to me, as I was suggesting when the conversation was taking place about the watch with our colleagues earlier, the phone is heavily varied your daily use. Some days you might watch a bunch of video, shoot a bunch of video. Other days might be lower power consumption days. And you can actually use your phone into the next day if it has a decent battery life without even worrying about it. You can go 2 days sometimes. This watch, it seems, if you're just doing the daily with it, it's fairly predictable that it's going to run out of juice at the slightly over a day mark, like a day and a half, in my experience. But like I said, it's less varied. I'm always going to pay. If I'm wearing it, I'm always going to pay with it. If I'm, one thing that stood out to me was turn-by-turn directions. I'm driving places.
Okay.
The watch is buzzing. It's sending me different directions. It's a very comprehensive device as far as a smartwatch is concerned. It may be more capable than any other smartwatch from that standpoint.
Is it too much? Is it too?
I think
too helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's too much.
Features.
I think it's just at a point right now where it's like the feature set is evolving faster than battery technology is, and that's a trade-off. And we're all just destined to be charging these things at night when we're sleeping. By the way, there goes your sleep tracking. So it's all very interesting. But this sounds negative. It's not negative. It's just this was supposed to be the battery champion. And if you try to use this thing in the absence of your phone, you try to use this thing, as a power user, you try to do a lot of stuff on it. You try to have a little workout and then pay and then respond to messages, and you want to use nav and you want to use cellular, you're going to drain this baby right here. So I'm just putting that out there. Could it improve in the future? Possibly, but there are some, barriers from a form factor perspective, the size of it and so forth. Dream. Yeah. Sticking with YouTube news for a moment. By the way, just to be clear, I'm not I'm not at a point. I'm not prepared to say that I don't like the watch. I'm not saying that at the moment. I'm going to use it a little bit longer. I'm going to reserve my judgment. I'm going to follow up with you here on this show.
Okay.
So there are some things I like about it. I like the bigger screen. I like the bigger buttons. I wasn't a huge fan of the Alpine strap. Put that out there. But I'll break it down for you.
And you also wear it like the complete opposite way.
No, I'm doing that right now because information comes up on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got it backwards right now because it's constantly just popping off.
Right.
And I know you can control the notification. I've already done that. I turned off so many things. Well, I got 37,000 unread emails. So I think these things work better for some people depending on their daily life, you know?